can you hear me this time without me doing sign language?
Oh, hi, Halston.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
How about now?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, great. Now I'm trying to send this out to Facebook Live, and so I've got this loop going on. Oh, it's crazy.
Nice. I was up here. I thought I was joining the private rehearsal area, but I actually started broadcasting, and I was like looking back and forth, playing with the delay of my webcam. It's good stuff. Adjusting my shirt so my nipples look equally placed.
Yeah. All right. So I got to take care. We're now live on Facebook. We got an audience now. Wow. Second show. We've got some people kind of sitting there. Oh crap. Hello, Wit and his lady.
Right. I'll try to keep up with chats this time so we don't.
Oh yeah. That's what we kind of failed last time. We didn't really take care of the whole chat thing.
Still washed
This
out.
is still a new platform for everyone who's out there who outside of the three of us. We're utilizing a webinar platform, which is a little different than your normal video production studio. So there's a lot of little weird intricacies that we're still trying to work out and figure out. And I don't know. I've got some feedback from people as far as it was easier for them to watch the Facebook stream than it was this, which is fine. One of those two places. We don't monitor Facebook while the show's going on, so if you want to have any type of interaction, this is probably the best venue for it. We still got a few more minutes. Yeah, and Horace is kind of off to the side. He's waiting for his lovely wife to get home before he jumps on.
Let me see what we got going here. Let's see if I can just monitor Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can try. We'll see.
I know Wit. Yeah, trust me. I've hit you up on some video production questions in the past, so definitely I know. It's after using it last week's show, it's definitely an interesting platform. But the technology that whether it's this one or one of the tons of other ones that are out there, the technology is really, really good. And I see this kind of being maybe a more commonplace thing for other types of shows and informational sessions. I just don't like using a webinar platform because it makes me feel like I'm trying to sell something. Hey, give me $20 and I'll show you how to make $1 million. See, I only need to get a couple 100,000 people. Not even that. 50,000 people. So I don't know. No, I don't know. 500,000. I can't do math today. I don't math very well. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning working on stuff. I'm out.
Yeah, Facebook is pretty far behind. I'm not going to be able to monitor that too. No,
yeah, that's something that maybe Horace can take care of when he gets on.
Yeah, I think you're just now trying to math on Facebook. So
yeah, I can't, and for some reason I can't see what's going on Facebook. So we're gonna have to wing it. We got, like I said, we got a good amount of people here. Yeah. We got Anonymous in Madison. Yet again, another Anonymous.
Hi, Anonymous. Welcome to the show. No Steve yet. Waiting on Steve to show up.
And that's one thing I do like about this platform is I can see who's watching on the webinar itself. So it kind of makes it a little more personal. And I have the ability to pull people out of the audience if I wanted to, so we can kind of talk back and forth if you were up to the challenge. And that's one thing we're going to do next week is we're actually bringing on a guest. I don't think I relayed this to you, Halston.
You did a minute ago.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to have a guest. We published that post on the Libertarian Party. It was a guest post, and the author, Curtis Caldwell, is open to coming on and talking. So it'll be very interesting to kind of pick his brain, see what his opinions are in regards to where the Libertarian Party is going, and whatever else we decide to talk about.
Sweet.
Oh my God! I got him. Okay, cool. I thought I forgot the What's the libertarian stance? A deck of cards.
Oh no! I'm gonna go kill some of these washout lights over here.
All right, go for it. Horace is joining us. Hi, Horace.
Hello. I think I need to turn on some lights. Hang on just a sec.
That's better. The only thing I want showing and glowing is my V-neck sweatshirt, V-neck t-shirt.
Gets me, Randy.
Pull it down a little bit, show a little man burger.
Woo! Woo! All right. So again, we're going to keep an eye on the chat. So if you got anything that pops up, you just let us know.
Yeah, man.
Try to address as it comes in. Hi, Horace. You're looking rather dapper today.
I look about like I usually do.
All right. Well,
what's the usual description I give? I pretty much look like an old hippie because, well, I pretty much am an old hippie.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, it is 9 o'clock, so I guess we'll go ahead and kick this bad boy off without the pleasant banter anymore. So this topic today, we're going to talk about biggest thing in the news is the hurricane. There's been a lot of back and forth. Social media has been all abuzz about all different kinds of things in regarding to the hurricane that hit Houston. So we're gonna talk a little bit about it, get some of our opinions kind of brought to the table, discuss a few things, and then if we have time, which I hope we do, we're gonna do what's the libertarian stance on a random Cards Against Humanity card.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
My favorite part.
That seemed to be a hit last week, so we're gonna keep doing that until people tell us to stop. All right. So I know we've all kind of talked about this in our own private chat that we have on Facebook back and forth. So, Halston, I think you may have some things you kind of want to lead out with.
Yeah, with the hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if libertarian was in office, there wouldn't be any more hurricanes.
That's right.
So there's that. So we got that to look forward to next election cycle.
That's what I'm hoping for. I think we should protest. I think we should just stand there and just protest the hurricane next time it comes in.
Yeah, let's take down all the Republican and Democrat statues and we'll just take over the world, beat people up or whatever we do.
Right.
Yeah. So there's lots of good stuff to talk. I mean, well, good's a terrible word to use there, but there's lots of stuff to talk about with this. I think we should probably start it off with picking on old Joel Osteen.
Okay.
That's not difficult.
Yeah, no, it's fish in a barrel, man. Fish in a barrel. I can do this all day. I can do it all day.
Yeah, I mean, he's always taken quite a bit of shit for being hypocritical, and huge houses and like Whit said, low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he should be exalted by this point if he's such a good preacher. But yeah, there was like I was telling you guys, in his defense, there were some pictures that came out of his church that had some flooding damage on the first floor in one wing of the church. But have you seen that motherfucker?
That church is one of the biggest damn churches out there. And honestly, and this may be something we have a table for another time. Growing up in a conservative Christian environment, growing up in the Southern Baptist Church. I saw this all the time in Atlanta. They're everywhere, these massive mega churches. And, it's stuff like that's where I have a hard time with. It's like, I'm not a Christian. I'm not, but I know the Bible and I know what it says. And nowhere in there does Jesus say anything about having a marketing plan. It says nothing about building these huge, massive monuments to yourself. I mean, I think if Christ was real, having a church that's the size of like 3 football fields is kind of outside the scope where he'd be like, whoa. Okay, you guys totally missed the point completely. But yeah, it's a huge church.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if it was mine, like if that was my lifestyle, it would make a lot more sense. If I was to push this message out, it would make more sense to do kind of like our local mega church or one of them, the Rock. Like they split it out and they have another they open up another church, right? And then you.
I'm sorry, if you have
open
franchises of a church, if you have a franchise of a church, you're no longer a religious organization. You're a damn business. It's like the Dominoes of Jesus, you know.
Right, but that should be what you should do as you get bigger. Do you just keep on taking all the money, or do you push it out and at least let other people in other communities, like you take all this money and then you go open up other churches and let them take in other money. So the little bit of money that you're spending on your community and making lives better, at least it's touching other communities rather. Like let 5 preachers get a Ferrari, you know, like what
share the wealth.
Yeah, asshole.
Yeah, we've got what appears to be one of the branches of a mega church here in Decatur now. Epic Church.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they're nationwide.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a topic that I could go on for hours on.
Yeah.
But you know, the way I look at like this whole Joel Osteen thing, everyone, and he's a televangelist, you know, they're scum of the earth, honestly.
For the most part.
And you know, if you're making that much money as a pastor, the clergy is not really meant from a Christian perspective to be a wealthy position. It's a public service, you know, and you know, and that's fine. If that's the way you want to run it, that's great. But my stance is that, you know, if you have a church or any type of nonprofit and you're not, you know, taking, let's say 50% of, you know, you're getting that tax break. If you're not supporting the community, if you're not taking, you know, half of what you're bringing in and pouring it back into actual tangible aid to the community that you're kind of supposed to do to get that tax-free status, you're a business at that point. And
yep.
while I don't necessarily agree with taxation on businesses, but all things being equal, if you're not contributing back to the community and you're taking a tax break, you're a business and you need to be taxed as such.
Yeah.
My stance.
Yeah, especially when you're the Cheesecake Factory of church businesses. You know, like you got the worst food for the highest price. So,
and
like,
it's
pay your dues, man.
It sucks that it has to get to that point to where the Twitterscape has to call you out in order for you to actually take any type of action. It shouldn't be that way. Yeah. You know, if you're actually preaching what you profess to believe in, this should be the first thing that you're going to do. You know, regardless of how big your church is, whether it's a tiny little strip mall church or it's a massive mega church, your job is to open the doors and care for the community. That's why you get those tax breaks. That's why you get you don't have to pay taxes on the land that you own. You know, these churches have massive amounts of commercial properties across the United States that are of, you know, good quality property. That
I want to say, like, the Catholic Church Catholic Church and McDonald's own the same amount of property across the country, or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Although I think the Catholic Church is worth more.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But, you know, kind of just tying it back to the Joel Osteen thing, you know, Halston, I know that you kind of brought some to the table before we kicked this off, saying that, you know, Houston didn't ask him or wouldn't let him open the doors or something along those lines.
Yeah. So he, like his first story was that there was damage to the church, right? There was flooding and there was some damages, and he didn't think that it was, so wait, let me back up. He changed the story 3 times, because the first time
I know.
Church, the church was flooded and there was damages. And the second story ended up being that he reached out to the Houston City Council and they said that they would let him know. And then the third story, well, Houston never asked me.
Right.
But here's the thing, man. These numbers are made up, of course. I'm exaggerating, but there's like 1,400 churches in Houston or something like that.
Right.
And only 60 of them open their doors.
Right.
Now, I don't know the logistical layout of Houston. I don't know if the other 1,340 are underwater, but literally 60 of them. That's just
statistically speaking, they're not all 1,300 are not going to be underwater. You know, if you want to say half, okay, that's fine. We'll throw an arbitrary statistic there and say, okay, half of them are. Why aren't the other half stepping up and filling the void? Why is it that, you know, people who aren't nonprofits are stepping up, which we're gonna talk about that in a second. Why? You know, why do you get the tax break? Why do you get the clout? And you don't do anything. You don't do what you're supposed to do.
Well, those dirty terrorist heathens, the Muslims, opened their mosques. Like those dirty rascally people that hate everybody.
Yeah,
they opened them out. They were the first. They were among the first few that advertised that their doors were open.
And that's what I'm not a huge fan of Islam either, from just a philosophical perspective. But that's one thing I have noticed, is that in times of crisis like this, they're usually open. They're opening, and they're opening their doors to hostile people. The people who do not appreciate their religion, they're opening the door saying, okay, come on in, we'll get you taken care of.
Yep.
And, it's kind of, that's such a weird concept to grasp. It's like, why are they able to do this? Why are they understanding the core concepts of their religion? But these guys over here, we're just going to, we're just here to kind of collect the tax haven status and, drive our Lexuses around.
But they're praying for them.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Right.
Of course. Let's just pray.
I think in the case of Islam, part of it is they only have one book that they have to deal with.
Okay.
With Christianity, you have the Old Testament and New Testament,
which is combined into one book.
Yes, but effectively it separates it into two different things.
I understand. The Old Testament is more or less the Talmud that the Jewish people follow.
Part of the Talmud.
Yes.
And whereas with the Quran, it's one thing only. So there's no division between it. You don't have to go, well, the Old Testament says this, the New Testament says this. I think that's part of it for them.
Why they're more charitable? Because they only have one book?
Well, it's not so much why they're more charitable, but why there's less division as far as what they are supposed to do. There's only one book they have to go by.
That's true, but I mean, like with any other religious text, it's all subject to interpretation. That's where you get the Sunni and the Shiite Muslim battling each other out. It's based on interpretation, and that's something that we can definitely discuss. We can dig deeper into the religious philosophies of some of the mainstream religions and kind of where they kind of miss the ball. I made a point earlier this week somewhere, probably on WAFF. That's usually the place where, if you're looking for a place for where I'm trolling, I am trolling WAFF. That's where I'm at. I am you'll see me on there all the time.
I think you troll WAAY.
I do because I need some diversity in my trolling. I need to be able to reach some different people because I get tired of seeing the same people complain all the time. I like to hear other people complain as well. But that's I'm the ultimate shit poster, and so it's but that's kind of where we're at. I was talking, and I said Islam and Christianity aren't that far apart. There's a lot more similarities than there are differences, and people are just lost their minds. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm not, and that's something I'd love to go into. Maybe at another time, kind of steer this back onto the Joel Osteen topic, just a little bit more. But going back to it. Horace, what's your take on Joel Osteen as far as everything that went on this week with him?
It's like I said earlier in the chat. I mean, I'm going to approach this from a legal standpoint as if this were testimony in the court of law. Because he has changed his story so many times, he is not a credible witness. Anything in reference to what the city of Houston said or didn't say is hearsay until they speak up
until
themselves.
They say otherwise, right?
That's fair.
So, I mean, he's not a credible witness. What does Houston have to say? I haven't heard them speak up on the issue, so
until they're pretty busy.
Oh yeah, they have a few things on their hands. They're trying to do a little bit of cleanup here and there.
Houston turned into a fucking.
I guarantee you, they have somebody in their PR department that can do it.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they need a better PR department.
Good point, Whit. Good point, Whit. All right, yeah. Whit says here that they're not going to say anything. He owns too many of them. That's fair. That's fair. That's very, very possible. I'm sure that the city of Houston does make a good amount of money off the people that go to his church, so he's not going to, they're not going to rock the boat per se. I'm sorry if my camera keeps moving. I keep shaking my desk around. So if anybody has epilepsy, I apologize in advance.
Just wait for the podcast to come out.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. We don't want to make light of something like this. This is a really serious situation. This is something that's it's devastating, and there's a lot of people impacted. I don't even know what the death count is. I don't know, but we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced. So I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea that we're here to poke fun at a tragic event such as this. But there's certain aspects of what's going on that we're gonna bring to the table and kind of poke some fun at, especially with the Joel Osteen aspect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that kind of ties in. Like nonprofits aren't necessarily stepping up, churches aren't stepping up. Who is stepping up? And it's the evil capitalists. I don't know if you guys have paid any attention to the evil capitalists, the horrible people that actually run businesses have actually stepped up.
Oh yeah,
and have done an amazing job. There was one where a guy owns a couple of the furniture stores that he has turned his business into a charity. He has opened the doors. He's got all this furniture in here that people are able to sleep on. But not only that, there's a boatload. I got a whole list. You want me to go through the list?
I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
How many can you think of, Paulson?
0.
All right, Horace, who are the 2 that you can think off the top of your head?
HEB and Academy.
Well, I didn't know. Tell me about Academy. I know about HEB.
Academy has basically set up, cleared out space and set up space there to make sure that the first responders are taken care of, that they're getting food, etc.
So you're telling me that the market trumps the government for the winning?
When doesn't it?
There you go. All right. I just kind of want to put that out there. I kind of put together a list of what these evil capitalists are doing. These horrible capitalists that we need to get rid of, that we need to abolish, that we need to just pull their intestines out of their anus and just destroy them for the evil that they are. Walmart, probably one of the biggest, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? The most hated of all these entities. Yeah. Walmart may suck to work for. I don't doubt that. If you're a Walmart employee, it may suck to work there. That's fine. Well, Walmart's right out the gate donated $1 million right out the gate, which is chump change for them, honestly.
Right.
Oh yeah, but
they've also on top of that put $20 million in the pot. It's a 2-for-1 match. So for people who are donating through Walmart, they're going to match for each dollar. They're going to throw $2 in out of their own pocket just to match it. On top of that, they sent out 1,060 trucks of emergency supplies. 1,000 trucks. That's a huge, massive amount of logistics. That's a lot of gas. Yeah. That's a lot of supplies. And this is just coming out of their supply. All right.
Yeah.
Google's donated $2 million so far. Amazon and Whole Foods have also done $2 million. Both of these were matches. So they donated $1 million. Their customers donated $1 million. So, but still, either way, it's $2 million that was raised for each one of those companies. United Healthcare. I didn't know about this until today. United Healthcare, one of the worst health insurance companies out there. They donated $1 million. So, kudos to them for that. Facebook donated $1 million. HEB. Not a lot of people know who and what HEB is, but it's kind of like Texas's version of Publix. Is that fair? Kind of more of like a regional type of grocery store.
I would give them a Publix. Yeah, they're pretty clean stores for the most part.
Okay. All right. So HEB. I remember HEB when I was actually out in San Antonio, when I was stationed out there for medical training. We'd go in there and get beer and whatnot. That's kind of the only reason why I remember them. But they sent out, they donated $100,000. They sent out 15 trucks. Of those, kitchens, mobile pharmacies, tankers full of water and oil or gas, as well as other types of business services as well. So we got a question that popped up. I'll keep going. Who just wrote a question?
Wit.
All right. Do you think that the business-friendly nature of this administration and the local governments involved is making private and public partnerships go more smoothly than the previous disasters? Oh, I don't like to give Trump credit for anything, in all honesty. But I think in this situation, since big business doesn't necessarily feel like it's on the firing line as much as it was the previous administration, I would have to lean to a yes on this, and I'll defer the other votes to my colleagues.
The only reason why I would say no, unless it's in anticipation of, like, the fiscal year hasn't started for Trump yet. So all of these policies that are still in effect for these businesses who are currently paying this amount of tax dollars are still under the Obama era fiscal part. So I don't know that I could say yes. I don't know if I could say yes or no. I just think this is one of those things that if it happened, I don't remember Katrina with this much private outpouring, but I would imagine that it wouldn't matter who's president right now because of social media and the way things get out. I think it's probably better for their PR if they just do it.
And I can't remember back to Katrina because I was actually in Germany at the time, so I wasn't really plugged into what was going on stateside. So I can't really speak too much to comparing it to Katrina.
Well, I remember Katrina, and there are some similarities and some differences. And I think the biggest difference, though, between what we're seeing now and what we were seeing then, is one, now we've learned from experience from that. Two, during Katrina, we had a Republican administration, just like now. New Orleans had a highly liberal Democratic government, and they actually turned help away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I do remember that. And I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that's one of the biggest differences is Houston. Even if they do have a Democratic government, which I'm not sure if they do or not,
they do.
They're less likely to be the ultra raving, moonbat liberal, that New Orleans had. So.
Yeah, and I believe New Orleans was also very heavy Democrat controlled at the time.
Yeah, it looks like Houston is. That's what I was.
Yeah,
I was looking at just their population.
I think their mayor is actually a former representative who served a good stretch of time. All right, so yeah, I sent out that poll, so we got some pretty interesting responses coming in. CNN, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But also, well, carrying on, I guess a few more of the companies. Anheuser-Busch, everybody saw it. 500,000 cans.
God, yes.
500,000 cans of water coming out of Cartersville, Georgia. I mean, they don't have to do that. They're not obligated to do that. They're not. No one sent an executive order saying you have to do this. They shut down production of their own product to be able to make sure people have water to drink at no cost, and they shipped it out there on their own dime.
And I don't remember if we shared this or because I know I saw an article about it, but there was a liberty-minded article about this is what happens when the free market does this or whatever, and it talked about Budweiser sending this out, and then one of the next stories that I saw about it was, but Budweiser does this every time there's a natural disaster. Like,
I was about to say,
what does it matter?
Who cares? Who the hell cares when they do it? The fact is that they're doing it without being told to do it. They're not forced. They're doing it of their own free will, using their own resources that they paid for, not the government, but who they paid for out of their own pocket to make sure people are taken care of. Damn them. Those evil capitalists. I really want to see them just destroyed.
I was actually going to make the point that they do this every time, but to me that raises them up in my eyes.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Their beer is shit. Their beer is complete and total shit, and I can't tell the difference between the water they can and the shit they put in the can normally. But
typically, if anybody has spent any time around me and you start talking about anything that they make, pretty much, the first two words out of my mouth are going to be horse piss.
Horse piss. American horse piss is what that is. But God bless them. You know what? They make a ton of money making that American swill, and now they're able to use those resources to provide water to the people in need.
And listen, they never fail to do so, ever.
Right.
That speaks volumes for them that it doesn't matter. They're always there.
Right.
They're reliable about it. There's no question. Disaster strikes. Here's Anheuser-Busch to the rescue.
Well, Home Depot is throwing in $1 million. Lowe's is throwing in $500,000. They're sending out, I want to say it was like 23 trucks of cleanup supplies, chainsaws, not just rakes and the cheap stuff. They're sending out a lot of the stuff that they need to kind of get things cleared up.
Heavy equipment, or not heavy
equipment. I won't go heavy equipment, but stuff that you actually need to clean up, not just a bunch of brooms and mops.
Manpower, heavy equipment.
Yeah, that'd be kind of insensitive if someone just sent a truckload of mops out there. That was just horrible. Pepsi donated $1 million. Let's see what else. ExxonMobil. I was really kind of sad about this. $500,000. Come on, ExxonMobil. Really, ExxonMobil? $500,000. You guys are one of the largest companies in the entire world, and you're coming up with $500,000. Didn't have to. Much appreciated, but I mean, come on. I mean, if companies like United Healthcare putting you to shame, kind of step up your game a little bit. And Starbucks, $250,000 they're throwing in there. So I read all this out just to show that where's FEMA? What is FEMA doing? What's the holdup here? Are we having a repeat of Katrina? Because I remember FEMA took a while to kind of pull their shit together and actually get down there. Where's FEMA? What's FEMA doing? Where are our tax dollars that we're paying, that we're forced to pay to FEMA? Where are they at?
Yep. And I think Steve's probably listening by now, but like Steve was saying this weekend, like when you have a tornado, like it just pops out of nowhere, right? Tornado comes through and fucks up a whole town, or 3 or 4 tornadoes that come through and fuck up a whole town. You get like a 5-day notice on hurricanes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I kind of put a little bit of a list together in regards to some of the conversation that was going on our post. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm monopolizing this, guys. And please feel free just to step in and say, shut the hell up.
No.
Do what?
You have a nice voice.
Okay, good. I'm glad. But that's the thing. There was a really good back and forth. I was the one that flipped the price gouging meme out. I will own that, and it seemed to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah.
It was about the whole Disneyland. Disneyland sells bottles of water for $3 a piece. This store is selling them for $1.78 a piece. Oh my God, price gouging. It's, these people need to go to jail. First and foremost, it's a hurricane, not an earthquake, not a tornado. It's a hurricane. You had days upon days of warning to either evacuate or stock your supplies. Am I wrong in any of this?
No.
Okay. Awesome. So if you know a hurricane's coming, you buy water ahead of time before the prices go up. Number 2, personal responsibility is not a bad thing. Being responsible for yourself and your family, for some reason in this society, has become a 4-letter word. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say for a lot of people.
And I in my response to some of the criticisms on that post, like I said, I'm the ultimate shit poster, but my response was a life straw, a $20 piece, that a filtration unit, $20 filtration unit.
And Luke's gone.
It
I'm
does
gone.
look that way.
Nope, now you're back.
You disappeared for a minute. You just went silent.
Somebody is using my internet.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I was talking about the live straw. Having that. I don't understand why people don't have that handy in case of like another April 2011 here in Alabama.
Right.
Live straws are okay. I'm not a big fan. I'm
not really looking at the overall critique of it. It's just the fact that there is stuff on the market that you can buy ahead of time to have
like
in your
cases
arsenal.
of water.
Well, or cases of water,
I would have to look, but I want to say the life straw is only good for a few hundred liters.
Which is
mine's 1,000 gallons.
1,000 gallons. Oh, they come in different shapes and sizes.
That's right. Yeah, there's different flavors.
Yeah, and they have like a whole filtration unit for like $75 on Bud K. Yeah. It's not overly expensive stuff to have on hand. And if you don't have a bug out bag, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't have your supplies ready, that's on you. Cancel your Netflix membership for a month or 2 or 6 months and start stocking up. I mean, you can't get mad.
No, I'm planning on doing a video sometime next month on how to build a bug out bag.
Dude, let's do it. Oh my God!
Shit at Walmart for less than $60.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Like mine probably has $11,000 worth of shit in it, but
you also roll deep in a lot of things. Yeah, I'm just going to put that out there. You roll deep in a lot of things. Oh my God! But also, it's supply and demand. You know, basic economic principles, supply and demand. But not only that, is that these stores don't know when they're going to get their supply back. So they have to charge a little bit extra to make up for the lost profit that they're going to incur down the line. Now, if that's unreasonable and that's insensitive, that's business. Economics and the weather don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your subjective viewpoints on things.
Much like Luke.
Ain't that the truth? You know, but keep in mind too is that it's business personal property. So if I have this bottle right here and I want to sell said bottle, I can sell it for whatever the hell I want to sell it for. Yeah. Now, when you start bringing in legislation, when you start bringing in other types of regulations that say you can't sell this at a certain price, what you've created is a socialist environment inside the economy. You don't have a free market anymore.
Right.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. We've never had a free market in this country.
I understand, but what I'm trying to get at is that in this situation,
and Luke's gone again.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to take a brief break and.
Yeah, we're going to have to kick those kids off of Netflix.
Am I?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
They have kids in their Atari video games.
Oh, I don't know. They're hula hoop.
Yeah,
they're Fogelberg.
I think you're right, and that post is definitely a knee-jerk reaction because even though the actual meme tells you that it's $1.78 per bottle, so if you just go to the gas station and open the refrigerator, you're going to pay that or more for Dasani water.
Right.
Oh yeah,
it's $1.99 at the local Soap and Suds down here, or whatever. But that's the knee-jerk part. It's like $40. Oh my God! Well, that's what you pay. So don't sell them the case. Just open the fucking case and let them grab a bottle of water. Charge them $1.78. It's the same damn thing they were doing last week.
Charge them $1.99. You charge them $1.99. They're paying the same. They're paying the same damn thing.
Right.
And that goes to something I was reading earlier. One of the places that had a picture of them price gouging was Best Buy.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Best Buy doesn't normally carry cases of water.
Right.
So when they put it out on the thing, they didn't have any way to figure out a price. So the guy who was making the signs looked in their coolers where they do sell it individually. It's like, okay, this one's this price, this one's this price, there's this many per case. Well, multiply, here's the price for the cases.
Right. So
it wasn't they were price gouging.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I did see it. Like there was a couple stores that were like right beside each other. One had it for like $40 a case, and another company had like the shitty, like bottled by municipal source type of water for like $99 a case. But they had a whole fucking shelf full, and it was like a supermarket. So I think that's a lot of the knee jerk reaction is you see something like that, and you're like, well, that may be a bit much. Like that's kind of a dick move. $40 paying charging the same amount that you would if you were just selling them individually, that regulates the supply so that everybody can get a little bit of water. Right. But when you make it $100 a case, nobody's going to buy it. You know, and nobody bought any. It's just you got a whole shelf full of water for $100 a case. It just, that's what people don't understand. They don't look at it. Yeah. They don't take a step back and be like, oh, okay, I can understand that.
Yeah, well, it's like the one guy commented, and yes, I was probably a little rude to him, but if you want to get me riled up, just do one little thing. But is it fair?
Right.
Life is not fucking fair.
Yeah.
And in your defense, he did tell you to shove something up your ass or something like that.
Did you guys see Witt's comment? Did you guys see Witt's comment? Yeah. It's hurricanes are magic. Oh, yeah, exactly. The rules of economics don't change because there's a natural disaster. If anything, you actually see them more in play because economics is just the study of the scarcity of resources and man's perceived necessity. So you actually see it more in play, and sometimes it's not fair. It's not pretty. It just is. It can be.
And it's scary. It really, it's scary when you think about how often you go to McDonald's and buy food, or how often you go out to eat at Outback or whatever, and then now all of a sudden you don't have any water. Because you decided that you wanted to go out to eat rather than stock up on some water when you know the fucking hurricane's coming.
Well, it's like Luke said. It doesn't take a lot of preparation, and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
Sure, great.
Live straw is $20. I prefer the Sawyer system. Well, it's a little better, but as far as prep, watch videos on long distance hiking for like the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail. Watch what those people do for what carry their as far as food. It's cheap, it's typically lightweight, and it provides you plenty of nutrition.
Yep. Yeah, and I, again, going back to what Luke was saying, it's not that none of us have compassion for people, because there are people dying, there are people starving, there are people that don't have water, there are people that are more hard up than hopefully we'll ever be. But the fact remains, and that's, I tried to make that point on our Facebook post earlier, that they're like, it's not necessarily one thing or the other that fixes the situation or that normalizes a little bit. But the combination of being prepared and having compassion for other people and regulating the supply so everybody gets some is essentially what can make this better. But taking away two of those and just leaving one, or taking away one of those and just leaving two, there's always going to be some hurt feelings or somebody butthurt about what somebody should be doing and not being doing. So we understand that not everybody could leave.
That's one thing that kind of flew
it's
all
not
over me too. It's like
for a lot
they
of
have a
people to
national
get up and
guard.
leave. Like there's
I've been in
nursing
the
homes
military.
where people
Halston,
are sitting in like
you've been in the
4 feet of water.
military.
Like it's not practical for everybody to
I don't
go.
understand why there wasn't some sort of directive saying, hey, what about the old people? Maybe we should make sure they're taken care of. Where was the National Guard in evacuating these people before the waters came in? There's been a lot of breakdown, and it's not working. Do it. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll have to fix this next time. I don't know. I gotta play with the router or something. I don't know. I was just saying that the religion of government isn't working. If the National Guard can't even evacuate nursing centers, what are they doing? Filling sandbags? I don't know.
No.
Painting sandbags. That was always fun.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
You probably.
One thing one of y'all said earlier that I did want to comment on, going back to FEMA, and it's like, where's FEMA?
Yeah.
To me,
and that was something that came out. The FEMA saying there could be a very long waiting list for for shelter, and I'm like,
yep.
Don't you guys prep for this stuff? Like you had days upon days to plan for this. People shouldn't be waiting for shelter. I understand having to house a bunch of displaced people, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people, not easy. But there should be contingencies in place to allow for that, whether it's busing them to local communities or even maybe not so local. When Katrina hit, a ton of people came up here to Huntsville from there. Shouldn't there be plans in place? Who is leading this Charlie Foxtrot?
Yep. Well, I saw this some stats that come up on Facebook, so they got to be true. It's like there was something like the Houston area has like 1.3 million, and the Houston metro area has like 6.3 million total people.
Have you been in West Texas?
It's a logistical nightmare to move them all. Well,
nothing.
You don't have to fucking move them
nothing.
all. Some of them are going to move themselves.
Yeah.
But then they were like, where are you supposed to put 8 states worth of people? How about the rest of fucking Texas? How about Waco or Odessa, where they don't even where they don't know what water is.
Yeah.
It's just that's the that's where they try to rationalize, well,
Right.
they couldn't go anywhere. That's not true. There are a lot of people that couldn't go anywhere, and I accept that. But there are a lot of people that had plenty of gas in their car. They could have driven somewhere.
And maybe they treated it like we now
can
treat
die, or
tornadoes.
you can go sleep in your car.
Ever since 2011,
if you have 20 kids,
every time that there's a dark cloud in the sky, the people are like, "Is there going to be a tornado? Is there going to be a tornado?" Oh, let's just err on the safe side. Let's go ahead and cancel school for the day because there might be a tornado and it doesn't even rain. You know, so people are very hypersensitive. Maybe that was the case. Maybe people didn't heed these warnings, be like, "Oh, we're going to be okay. It's not going to be as bad as we make it out to be." Oh, and Witt, I think he's actually an Auburn guy. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
And going back to the April 27th tornadoes, and prepared.
We were out where I'm at in East Limestone. 8 days.
Decatur was definitely affected. It was without power for I forget how many days, but it was not just a few hours or it was like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how long it was here, but we were without power for several days. Me and Katie were very lucky at the time because of some of the events we were going to and what we were doing there. We had bought a generator. It kept us in power so that we could run the router, we could run the refrigerator, we could run some lights, we could charge our phones.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe one big thing that a lot of people who are impacted by this, especially out in Texas, Louisiana right now, are maybe coming to terms with it. It's like
a little bit
can't
of preparedness
rely
goes a long way.
The big brother to be there for me when I need him the most. Maybe I should kind of start holding up some supplies myself. And you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to have a pantry full of non-perishable stuff that you can eat in the event that something like this does happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff has extended shelf life. I mean, going back to what people on the trail eat, because they are weight conscious, they use the pouches rather than the cans.
Tuna,
and we'll use the pouches because I think they have a shorter shelf life than the cans.
I don't know if I trust tuna that much.
Like the tuna and the chicken and the pouches.
I would definitely lose.
Typically has a shelf life of
18
to 24 months.
Doing that. Oh, good Lord. All right. So that's. Oh, I love tuna, but 18-month-old tuna, no, I'm just not feeling it.
I'm not.
That requires me to put a lot of trust in people I don't know. And anyway, so have we beaten this topic down?
It's not like it's raw. This is completely cooked, preserved.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. All right, we actually planned for this to last 20 minutes, and we're already 45 minutes into it. You should go. For those of you who are watching, you should come hang out on my front porch sometime. It gets long. It gets long. All right.
And this is new house.
2:00 in the morning. I have to tap out. I'm done. I got an infant. He's gonna be up in 2 hours. I gotta get some sleep. So I guess we're gonna move on to the next big thing that's kind of been floating around was the I guess remilitarization of our boys in blue. Halston, with your military background, what is your honest to God opinion on this?
So we're going to further arm the biggest, most violent gang in history.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, I know why the military gets issued the gear that they're issued, and that's so it's partially for protection, and I understand that they're always looking for the best way to keep soldiers alive. but they're also looking for the best way to keep soldiers alive so that they can dominate the opposition. And that's where I have a problem with that. And you typically, and that's just the protective gear. We're not talking about weapons. And you develop weapons so that you can gain and maintain fire superiority, which is that's what I have the biggest problem with. It's not that I'm going to get into a shootout with a police officer and he's going to have body armor. Like I'm not so concerned about that as I am concerned about not being able to protect myself in the event of some other weapons start an insurrection or something like that, and then the cops come through kicking in doors and
OSS was our side, and that was CIA before CIA.
That's the whole.
Yeah,
that German
we'll go with that. Sure.
The OSS or
OSS Allied.
Yeah, the Gestapo. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, those are the good guys.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion on it. It's the body armor. Yeah, I can understand SWAT having body armor and stuff like that. But having that for the regular beat cops to go out and perform raids or riot control or whatever. And I'm sure we're going to get into their 6 months of training. But it's definitely the weapons. Like a regular beat cop or even SWAT can be issued.
And the concern that I kind of have too, looking at it more, I guess more of an Alabama perspective, is that recently there was legislature in Montgomery in regards to allowing a church to have its own police force.
So
do we want religious organizations to have their own police forces with these types of weapons? So and the thing is, people are like, oh, this is okay. I was like, oh, so you being the person from Alabama, you're cool with a mosque having their own religious police force with American weapons. You're cool with this.
Not particularly.
Oh God, no. That people would lose their minds if like the local mosque decided to start their own police force. Because if they're gonna let this Baptist church from wherever it is have a police force, it has to be allowed for every religious organization.
Only Baptist.
So the mosque is gonna start their own little police force. It's gonna get military grade weapons.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be a fun time. That's gonna be a brilliant time. Horace.
Yep.
Thetans. Are you clear? Are you clear, Horace? Right now, are you clear? Are you clear? I need $25,000 so I can clear you.
Then you have to let the Scientologist bring
here. Hold on to this. Hold on to this. Real tight. Real tight. He should have stopped there. Should have stopped there. I love Gene Roddenberry, but I sure so much to start a church after him. Hell no.
Yeah. L. Ron Hubbard, excellent sci-fi author. Love what he writes.
I know.
But yeah. Well, Hubbard started the church.
So Horace, what's your take on the whole militarization of the police force?
He started it himself. But as far as his psychology, religion, whatever, no. If we're going to militarize the biggest gang,
I mean, I don't see there being anywhere in any type of legal doctrine that says that the law enforcement officials should have better weaponry than the citizenry. I mean, we can debate U.S. Constitution, this, that, and the other, but there in the Second Amendment, there's no asterisks. There's nothing that says that only these certain people can have this. And that's a topic we can take to another time, because my stance is nowhere in the U.S. Constitution does it even say that people who are felons can't own guns. That's something that we've added onto it, and we can kind of debate that as whenever there's a slow news week.
Well,
okay,
that's true.
Briefly, right?
You did.
I got some good shit for that one.
You did mention something though that I do want to cover real briefly. Going back to the Second Amendment. One of the things that we all know that a lot of the anti-gun crowd it gets into is militia. Well, here's the thing. According to U.S.
I'll have
code,
to look at that.
the militia covers every male between the ages of 17 and I think 42, and every female
I'll have to read
who
up
is
on
a
that,
member of the National Guard. They are part of the unaffiliated militia. I'd have to look up the actual code. It's 10 something.
Yeah, let me write that down.
Yeah,
I'd like to know about that.
I'm prior service, so I guess
so
they
the
can
next-
call my ass up.
When it comes to what arms are available to to the militia,
I'm broke.
well, y'all are technically part
what
of
they
the
call
militia.
FTW, fat, tired, and useless. I'm broke.
Oh yeah.
That's
They're not called this motherfucker here. Say that, no.
Anyway,
So
it's the same thing. It's nowhere does it say that any certain class of government employee should be able to be armed more than the citizen. If you break it down to the way it was kind of envisioned, just reading the letters, reading the actual Constitution, people are the police weren't even really mentioned in that at all. Law enforcement was not even brought to the table in that. The citizens had the ultimate right. The citizens had the ultimate say. The people had more power than anything else. And over time, we have allowed that to degrade to whatever this shitstorm is right now, where we're slowly seeing a more and more encroachment, and we're being okay. We're settling for it. We're like, that's fine. As long as I have my as long as I have my Netflix and my Domino's, I'm good. And it's a sad state of affairs because we're also ingrained at a younger age that guns are bad. Guns are bad. Militias are bad. Anything along this line, it's always held in negative context. And so as a parent, I'm finding myself having to kind of push past a lot of what's being indoctrinated, from at a school age level, saying no, guns aren't bad. Guns, it's a tool. It's how you use it. You can use it for bad things, just like you can use the rusty machete outside for all the wrong things. As long as you know how to use it properly. It's a tool to protect you. It's a tool to do with, if you wanted to hunt, stuff like that. Oh my God, it's a great stress relief, Putting a couple rounds down range, it's great. Yeah, that's right, Whit. I agree.
And personally, I think target shooting is a great deal of fun.
Right. I hate guns.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I some of the arguments that you see, especially when you're talking about what the police are allowed to have, it's just like, well, they're trained. Well, I can guarantee you that I shoot more than every single cop on the police department in Huntsville. I can guarantee.
Whole different topic for a whole different show, my man.
I train more than they do.
To me, it's like, okay, if they are trained, then why aren't they held to a higher standard?
It's completely. I'm not by any means saying that it's just that is something that we could open up.
Still, it's a relevant question.
Still going on and on about.
That's so much
we've got the cookout coming up this Saturday. We can definitely practice some of this stuff for the next show.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Before we hit our random card, I think we need to touch on that Metro Rail Authority really quickly. So, and this goes right along with the militarization of the police. So, Trump signed this into law. Well,
HB or HRS? HRS.
Definitely. It was brought on. It's House Bill 76.
Sure.
If you guys want to look
moving
it up.
on.
Bill or House resolution?
House resolution. No, it's House Bill. It may be House resolution. Yeah. I think it's House Bill. I wrote down House Bill, but I can't read. So, but anyway, right. Yeah. So So the surrounding, like,
who are the five?
DC
Out of curiosity,
metro
because I didn't
area,
research this. Who are the five?
And what made me read this
Of course,
article
yeah.
is that only 5 congressmen voted against it. And that's when you know something fishy's up. When everybody's getting along except for 5 dudes, something fishy is going on. So
yeah, it's 435. So
Justin Amash is one of them.
Yeah, Amash. That was the guy I follow on Twitter. But there were 4 other ones. 29 didn't vote, and what at least 300 and something else that did vote. Yes. So that's something. Yeah. So what this does is it brings up a safety commission that oversees the DC area with the metro train system, which it gives the authority back to these states, but also these states have now formed this federal commission of safety.
Is that being rolled up through the Patriot Act as far as?
But down at the bottom of this,
DHS purview,
know that any land adjacent to the metro rail can be searched at any time for any reason without warrant and without suit. So if they come in and break your shit, you can't sue them. It didn't mention anything about DHS, but it just mentions that.
Well, the thing is, because I skimmed through that, and I was already having a bad day. I was about to have an anxiety attack with everything else that's going on in the news.
Blurb at the end of the bill
so I was like, I'll read this later.
Kick your door in.
Is that I'm curious to see when it gets challenged, if it does get challenged, what the judiciary is going to say. You know, it's like, you know, will they uphold this like they upheld Obamacare? Will they say, oh, this is fine? It's a clear violation, a clear violation.
Oh, it will get
no,
challenged.
it's fine. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. Yep. This is one situation where Neil Gorsuch becomes a good pick because he's pretty solid on constitutional theory, and I'm pretty sure he's going to see that this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Pretty sure.
Well, there's been a couple of cases. I want to say they were Fourth Amendment cases pop up over the last, say, year or so. Because I was mentioning one the other day to somebody, and it was a rare case because this was when it was just 8 members on the court.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rare case where it was a unanimous decision in favor of the plaintiff. That his rights had been violated, and
well, that's something we'll like to see. That's
so
these people who wear this brand of like a constitutional conservative.
Like that, it seems like
that is such a misnomer.
It is more towards civil liberties.
You see it so much more and more. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Mo Brooks vote for this? Yes or no? Do we know? Oh, he did. Oh, okay, so Mo Brooks doesn't give 2 shits about the Fourth Amendment. Great. There's your constitutional conservative, Alabama. Oh, Jesus Christ. This state is so fucked up.
Yes. Yeah, he voted for it. Congratulations, Alabama.
You get me hot, Halston. You get me hot. I'm about to go unglued.
What the Alabama Libertarian group thinks about what Roy Moore's opinion on this is, because I can almost guarantee you he supports it.
I'm not a native. I grew up in, actually, Halston and I grew up like right down the road from each other.
I don't know where Halston is originally from. Okay, but Luke, at least you do have excuse. You're not a native.
Get out.
I'm not a native.
You're not.
If I was, I wouldn't tell you.
And you came back, you dumb bastard.
Yeah.
I'm a native, born and raised here.
Poor thing.
So
that's the way I felt about Middle Tennessee. I could not see it. I had to join the army to get away from Middle Tennessee. So, and then I ended up in North Alabama, which is like right down the road.
Alabama is a black hole. Once you get here, you can never.
All right, so we'll move on to. We got like 2 minutes left. We go a little bit over. There's no heartbreaks, but let's not get crazy with that though. All right, so
it just sucks you back in.
It does. All right.
Oh, too bad we don't have a third hour, folks.
At the rate we're going, use
Will. I wish we could get Will on here. Will be a fun one to. He at least has a sense of humor. As far as radio talk guys go, like Dale Jackson has no sense of personality. He's a toe fungus. Is pretty much what he is. But Will Anderson actually, he's a fun one to hang out with. He's a fun one to talk to, and he's good. Yeah. You want to debate, he'll debate you, and he'll bring up great points, and he'll admit when you have a good point. So he's a gracious debater most of the time. Most of the time. But anyways, so we ready for this random card thing? All right. So Horace, pick a number between 1 and 5. 4. What's the libertarian stance on crystal meth? Brought to you by Cards.
4.
Legalize it. All right. Right. Okay.
What's that?
Crystal meth.
Legalize it. It's nobody's business.
Like Whit says,
using it.
Legal but stupid. Legal but stupid.
As long as they do not harm anyone in the process.
If that's what you want to do,
nobody's business. If they do, then that person has the right to sue them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Legal but stupid.
Yep.
All right. So Halston, 1 through 4. Go with 3.
It's like Mountain Dew. Legal.
What's the libertarian stance on?
I like Mountain Dew.
Anal fissures, like you can't and like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, let me go with 3. It's a magic number.
Yeah. Okay, Horace, what's your stance on anal fissures?
That's a good one.
Like you would not believe.
Let's go with legal but stupid. Legal but
should they be forced to go to the doctor? Okay, all right. Should people be forced to have anal fissures? That's the real question.
It's up to the person
just so nobody has privilege.
Want to go to the doctor? Go to the doctor. If they don't,
versus the anal fissure lack of privilege.
Absolutely fucking.
Thank you. All right, so I'll go with 2. So, what's the libertarian stance on Skeletor?
No one should be.
All right, libertarian stance on Skeletor.
Fuck privilege.
I don't know, because he was. I guess if you looked at it from a Dungeons and Dragons type of alignment, he would fall more. You think he would be more like chaotic evil, or chaotic neutral? Neutral evil, okay. Lawful evil, okay. So, as far as that goes, man, it's as long as he's not hurting my person, my family, or my property, evil. I don't really give 2 shits about him.
Or maybe even lawful.
And honestly, I think I saw him at Mapco.
I don't know. I couldn't do lawful evil.
Everybody hangs out at Mapco these days. All right. Oh. It's not the violence that gets me. It's his voice. I just don't like his voice. I'm cool with the violence.
That's right, man.
Yeah, hey, he did have some cool hints.
Pitch and ride.
He does have cool hints, and he's just a bit
better than that tiger thing He-Man rode.
Yeah.
He had a badass ride though, man.
He was an EOC complaint lawyer.
Pitch and ride.
That is that is very true. I would work for him.
Ride a fucking cat.
I'd let him touch my ass a couple
times. Got all
times.
these muscles and you jump on a pussy. Get the fuck out.
Anal fissure with my Skeletor. Oh my god, it's just like it's the trifecta, man. It's the motherfucking trifecta. All right, 10:03. I think that we've killed an hour of perfectly good time that you could have been used reading or masturbating, but we decided to all kind of hang out together and talk about stupid shit. So, Halston, anything left to say? All right. Horace, what you got? All right. Well, thanks for Whit for being involved, as well as Steve for being here.
Fuck Hurricane.
And I think that's it. Anonymous left, so I don't blame him.
I think
all right, guys. So have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Oh yeah, Saturday. Oh wait, we got somebody popping in the chat. Wait a second. Cool. All right, bone spurs. Wait, do you want the libertarian stance on bone spurs? Oh, you're talking about Skeletor and the anal fissures. Oh, yeah, okay, I got you. All right. DEO's. Yeah.
No, he wants bone spurs from Skeletor.
All right, well, this has been too much. I gotta go smoke a cigarette. So, you guys have a good night.
I also like.
And we'll see you next week.
The other comment below that, he was an equal opportunity employer. Yeah.
All right, man. Later, guys.